You are listening to Girls in Low Places, where the whiskey drowns and the country music chases.
Can I just add that I have no clue what's going on?
We are the UK's alternative source on all things country music. So buckle up, shot that tequila, and let's bloody go, girls. Libs, it's official. The Country Music Podcast has made it out of the group chat.
It's made it out of the group chat.
And we are joined here by our producer, Ozzy.
Hello.
Who is sitting in, mainly to keep us from going to prison.
As is needed.
I'll be on a wanted side before you know it.
Yeah.
I think I probably already am in Nashville, to be honest. This is so abnormal.
I know, this is so unnatural. I just need to get into the flow a little bit, okay?
I think we need to talk about why are we doing this country music podcast and why we feel that we're a new platform that the UK doesn't have.
I think country music generally in the UK is a little bit underrepresented. In America, it's everywhere. We do obviously have country radio stations, but
it's a very certain type of audience that gets catered to. So we've got your Bob Harris on Radio 2.
Yep.
You know, we love you, Bob. If you ever want to come on the podcast, we're all ears. Can't wait to have you.
Team Bob.
Team Bob, always. We've got Absolute Radio Country, which is kind of for, I don't know, kind of drive time, school runs, things like that. And I think, you know, they're both, music is for everyone, of course. But I feel that there isn't a fun, younger platform for country music in the UK. And I've decided, here we are.
Oh, yes, we are.
We also just feel really strongly that, like, lots of people, when you speak about country music to them, they're people who don't know country music. They're like, what, you like country music?
Yes. And I think people have a very stereotypical, perhaps they have, oh, it's about your trailer and your truck. And yeah, okay, sometimes it is. But a lot of the time it's about storytelling and it's more subtle than that. And it has influences from other music genres.
Absolutely. I mean, Libs and I went to uni together.
We did. We were the first people each other met at uni. I mean, thank God. Yeah. There were some questionable characters.
Well, there was another person in halls who actually thought I was your mum on that first day, which forever haunts me. I don't understand how that happened. We are the same age.
Yeah.
But that started a beautiful friendship. And we kind of grew, you know, we both love Carrie Underwood. And then that kind of evolved into other things. And then you and producer Ozzy went to school together.
Yes, we won't say how long ago that was. That would give the game away. But
yeah, because we're a young, cool new podcast. We're not over 30.
And then these guys, mainly through the love of country music or music in general, bonded. And, you know, when they hang out without me, I feel left out.
We just love going to those gigs, causing chaos. And chaos every time. I'm actually going to see Lainey Wilson on Tuesday, which Ozzy was meant to be coming with for me, but she's now away for work. Which means that I don't have a babysitter and anything could happen.
Are you going solo?
Anything could happen.
I am going solo. Libs, I'm glad you've brought this up.
No, mainly because you need some kind of carer. So, but go and see Lainey solo. I absolutely would. I mean, she's going to be incredible.
I will. I mean, I was meant to be going with my now ex-fiance and Watermelon Moonshine, which is a fantastic song about coming of age love, was going to be potentially our first dance. But I've cancelled the wedding, so that's off. But I'll go and stand there and sway to it on my own. But that's another reason why we called the podcast Girls in Low Places. We are not a mental health podcast. If you're coming here for your mental health, I'm concerned for you. You'll be straight in the gutter. It's a play on words of Garth Brooks' songs. Friends in Low Places. Am I going to get done for copyright for that?
No.
Okay, good, because it did sound like Garth was in the room.
It sure did.
We are going to have a Spotify playlist, which you can go to at the end of this podcast, which for everybody that we talk about, you are going to have a set of songs that we would recommend you listen to. If you know the artist already, it's going to be a great playlist. You're going to love it. If you don't and you want a good entry rate into country music, that is the way to go. Girls in Low Places Spotify playlist. So check that out. Well, I do want to ask, Liz, what's been your low place of the week?
Well, I mean, it depends where we're going with this.
How low do you want to go?
That is the question most days. But we can keep it quite flippant and, you know, mild irritation level.
Mild irritation, tell me.
Let's delve into mild irritation level. which actually happened this afternoon. And I'm aware that what I'm about to say is a very first world problem, but I'm talking about my nails. I never have naked nails. And I went to the hair salon, nail salon. And long story short, I was there for an hour and they only managed to take off my shellac and not reapply. And so I walked out of that nail salon. And the reason I just slipped up and said hair salon is because it immediately made me think of a song that we all know,
Megan Moroney's hair salon.
which has a much deeper meaning than someone not finishing your nails. But
Megan Moroney. She is also having a really breakout year.
yes,
She just played her new song, No Caller ID, at the CMTs, which is rumoured to be about Morgan Wallen. Now, I know for those guys who maybe don't listen to country so much, these are lots of players. Megan Moroney, new blonde pop princess in terms of country music. The song is all about some guy who keeps calling her at 3 a.m. with no caller ID, and she knows exactly who it is, and she is not picking up.
we've all been there.
We've all been there. We've all been there. But I would say this, if it was Morgan Wallen, I'd be picking up.
I absolutely would not. And we can move on to why.
Are you talking about the chair?
I'm talking about the chair.
So Morgan Wallen is kind of country music's bad boy. He's got a lot of hip hop influences. Again, very much a good entryway into country music if you like other types of music, especially hip hop. And I feel like when I talk to people who maybe don't know the whole country music scene, but they tend to stay, oh, but Morgan Wallen, he's doing Hyde Park, British Summertime this summer. I've got tickets. And so has Ozzy. We're persuading Libs to come. She's not sure. Mainly because of this chair incident. So Libs, what's happened?
Well, I think best for you to explain and for me to chip in why it was despicable, Morgan.
So Morgan Wallen was on the 6th floor of a bar in Broadway, Eric Church's bar, who's another country music artist, and he threw a chair off in supposed anger.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's why Ozzy's here.
Otherwise, I'd be brought up as like some sort of key witness next week. Basically, he allegedly threw a chair off a 6th-story bar in Nashville. Broadway or Nashville, for those that haven't been, it is a strip. It is so busy all the time. And if you are going to throw a chair off a bar like that in the dark, or from the 6th floor, you absolutely could have killed someone. Also, interestingly, what news has developed that it's because his ex-girlfriend or ex-fiance, I'm not sure, has recently got married. And that's why he found out that night that she'd got married and he then threw the chair off.
But of all the reactions, Morgan, like, be sad, be angry, but don't endanger the lives of
Furniture.
don't endanger the furniture or the lives of the passers-by. And also he's in his absolute prime. He's like hit his stride big time. He was number one for so many weeks with one of his songs last night. We can come on to that. And he just does something so stupid as that. And he's going to lose fans. He's lost me.
It is sad. He was just having a big song with Post Malone coming out.
So is he going to come to Hyde Park? Who knows? Probably.
Well, we're not too worried about that, are we? We're just any furniture we'll keep far away. But other than that, I don't think our border control is the same as the way it was going back in. If I'd done that when I went on my hen do in Nashville, which maybe I did.
That's another episode.
That's definitely another episode. I think that I would obviously never be allowed back in America, but I think he will be fine. I'm hoping so because I will be gutted. But I mean, he's problematic. It's part of his charm in a way. It works. But it is interesting seeing this call and return between Megan Moroney and Morgan Wallen. Neither of
Alleged.
their alleged love affair. Neither of them have admitted that they are in this relationship. They're just doing song after song that seems aimed at each other. And it's great to watch.
Yeah.
Great to watch. And Megan Moroney has a great song called Hair Salon, which we were talking about before from a nail salon, which is all about her finding out that someone she is in love with, or her ex, who she's still in love with, has just got engaged to someone at the hair salon and how she feels about it, hearing it at the hair salon. It's a really good song.
There's a line in it that says, I pay for the colour, but the drama's free. And I think that sums up any salon's vibe because it is free drama, but also not what you need if you're heartbroken in the hair salon.
That's why I'm not going to get my hair done ever again.
I can tell. I'm joking.
Rude.
It's a low place, guys. It's a low place. You're also going to see Megan Moroney in Amsterdam.
We are going to see Megan Moroney in Amsterdam.
She's not coming to London. I can't remember.
She is coming to London, but this is the interesting thing. We have just, well, I decided because I bought the tickets and was like, who's coming? I've bought them. We're going to Amsterdam. Basically, I find going to country concerts in the UK
Yes.
a little bit jarring. The reason for this, I find, is that you have a very vast crowd who want to get different things from the concert. I think you have a crowd of maybe people who want to stand and listen and treat it almost like a piece of theatre or like a concert that's not a gig, a concert, like something they might sit down at. And people who arrive very, very early because they also are going to leave very, very early. And you have sort of that crowd that is quite, I'd say maybe like 60%, maybe 70% are maybe on that vibe and that wavelength. And then I'd say you have a 40% of the younger crowd who maybe have been at work all day, have just come back, they get in a bit later, they're ready to drink, they're ready to party, they're happy to stay later. Yeah. They all pile in at the back. And then you have a very, very, very packed venue with two completely opposite types trying to have a very different experience all in one packed room. I think country artists are always overwhelmed with the support they receive when they come.
Exactly.
And the venues are always too small. Yeah. They're always sold out.
They're underrepresented in general, as we said before. And the venues, they are always sold out, if not over capacity. And they need to be in bigger venues. We did go and see, we can talk about him separately because I love him, Jordan Davis at Hammersmith Apollo. Yeah. Which is a larger venue, which was still absolutely rammed. Like we had to sort of really force our way in. But that's a slightly better sized venue because upstairs, downstairs. But often in London in particular, they are in the O2 venues, not the O2, the sort of O2 forums, they are just too small. And I think, as you say, I think artists are surprised. Maybe their management are surprised of the support. Yeah, there's a huge country following. And if you booked bigger venues, you'd still fill them.
I would love to see more country musicians at things like All Points East. I would like to see more country musicians at younger venues. And also I'd like to see more country musicians booking out seated venues so that we can then, if we choose to be going to see somebody on a Tuesday night, you're not in a crush with a complete opposites next to each other, all trying to have a very different evening in a very, very small venue, because it just means that everyone comes away from it feeling a little bit, I don't know.
I think also going back to the Tuesday night thing is that so many times, case in point, Lainey's on a Tuesday, Jordan was on a Tuesday, other artists have been on a Tuesday. They are very rarely on a Friday or Saturday night, these in the UK. And I think, again, that's like a mishit from management that aren't based in the UK, because people do want to have a good time and it is...
Yeah, I want to get lit.
I was just going to say, Katie's the person I'm trying to get away from in the crowd.
When we're talking about the two differences of crowd, basically what we're talking about is me and Liv. We just shouldn't go to these gigs together, is what we've learned.
Opposites attract, guys. Opposites attract.
No, yeah, it's definitely. I'm always the person that stood next to the person who, like, maybe the husband who maybe doesn't want to sing along to everything and wants to stand still and doesn't want to dance. Always the wives, they're always rocking out next to them.
Well, last time I had like a dad with a group of, I want to say, 18 like teenagers. There was like girls, and it was a Tuesday night. Clearly, you know, daddy had driven up to Hammersmith. That's great. These girls, they were like not even facing the stage most of the time. That's fine. They're chatting with their friends, but I'm right behind them. You are wearing a cowboy hat, which you've clearly brought as a novelty, and you know now I can't see or hear Jordan when he's talking. So.
It's difficult because gig culture is always like that, isn't it? It just feels, with country music, I feel like it's heightened. I don't feel like that when I'm going to any other kind of artists. I feel like everyone's kind of on the same vibe. We know what it's going to be when we go. Like,
it's partly heightened because, yes, predominantly US, like a country artist come to the UK, but it's not like you can see an artist every week. It is a bit more few and far between, so it is a bit heightened. It's like, no, I've been looking forward to this gig for months.
We'll see them once a year.
We'll see them once a year, if that, in the UK.
And if you don't, you have to pay top money to go to America to be able to see them at any other point.
Exactly. So there's a bit more riding on it if you are a super fan, which we are. So those girls who are just chatting, turn around.
Turn around. Is your dad single?
Again, Katie, get away from the dads.
You can turn back around, my son. So that leads me on to Country to Country, which we just attended.
Yep.
I really think they've stepped up the game. I mean, Country to Country, for those that don't know, is a big festival in London. Happens once a year. It's also in Glasgow, Dublin, and it's basically country artists come over from the US and come and play here once a year. It's Country to Country. It was great. I always enjoy it. I much prefer it to be in like an open field, like another festival that's country music festival in the UK called the Long Road. But the one thing I would say that was interesting is that UK artists, and I want to check I'm correct here, but I think Kezia Gill, who is a UK artist, said on TikTok a week ago that UK artists were banned from playing at Country to Country this year, and they haven't been prior, which I think was a really interesting choice.
I mean, why?
Well, I think that they're kind of trying to say that this is a cross Atlantic.
Yeah.
They're trying to make this a cross Atlantic. This is a special occasion where all the US artists come over in one big hit, and we don't need the UK artists muddying the water. And then there's been a lot of kickback on a lot of it saying, well, the UK artists aren't good enough. The UK artists needs to get better. Well, how are we going to make those UK country artists have a better platform, get bigger, if we're not going to give them the platform when we have the biggest country music festival in the year, and we don't invite them? They can only come as guests.
And to just explain a little bit more about Country to Country, it's in London, it's held in the O2, which is obviously the biggest music venue in London. And yes, there's the main stage, but there's also, they set up like pop-up stages around the outside, so that there's a stage in the Indigo, which is obviously a smaller venue, but
most of which are free as well, by the way.
Exactly. So you can just walk in and you can just see an up-and-coming performer on a stage doing an acoustic set, and you can be like, I really like that. Who's that? I'm going to check them out. If you strip them, as you say, as that opportunity, when are they going to get it again? And also, I think some people who go to that, some of them will be going because they are hardcore country fans. A lot of them are probably going for that headliner because that's the big name they know. But on the way in, they're going to see all these up-and-coming artists.
That's my favourite part about these festivals.
Exactly.
Is that you learn about all these different artists that you would never get access to.
Yeah.
You don't get access to those artists necessarily on Absolute or Radio 2. Bob tries his hardest. I know he does, but he can't be across everything, and nobody can. We don't have that platform in the UK to play someone on the radio all the time or have all these new up and coming. It's not it's enough of a push. So you do learn a lot when you go to these festivals of people that you've never heard about, even people from America that you maybe never heard of, or you really warmed to one of their songs that you didn't know because it wasn't on the top liked on their Spotify, but you got to a B-side of something and you think, oh my God, that song really moves me. So it's interesting to me that they're doing that. I mean, it comes back down to the question of like, what is country music and who is allowed to sing it, or who should be, you know, what's appropriate with that, how Americans feel about it, and what the essence of it is. I don't feel equipped enough to talk on that, but I am excited to maybe get some guests on who are.
Yes.
We're excited to get guests on this podcast, musicians, songwriters. It's going to be a whole mixed bag. We're going to harass people at festivals.
Maybe not harass.
In a non-illegal way.
We are going to not harass people at festivals, but I will be behind you 10 foot every single place you go, Morgan Wallen.
And I will not.
I will have a chair for you. No, no, we do want to kind of be on the ground, trying to get interviews with people maybe we wouldn't have access to normally. And we want to hear what people have to say about it. I mean, I know I have a friend who is in Nashville now, and he is Scottish, and he's killing it. But I know that he sometimes gets a little bit of pushback from that. And I think the UK artists who are here sometimes can feel a little bit of pushback from that from the fans, which is that blows my mind that UK fans are like, well, we don't want to listen to someone who isn't actually American singing country music. But country music is just 3 chords and the truth. And I think also country music to me is like, it comes or has a big influence of Irish music, folk music. So I think something that has really brought that conversation up recently is, and I'm going to do it, girls, I know we're not all fans of it, but Beyonce's album.
Yes. Discuss.
I want to open with, I am a Beyonce fan. I have seen her live. She is incredible, vocally, everything spot on. But I think with this album, I think what's meaning there is a divide from the country music fans to the fans who are enjoying the album and the fans that aren't, is that I feel that country music tells a story. Every song tells a story. You are given the story from the first verse, you are in it. You are painting that picture. Chorus, okay, we've got some sort of message of the song. Then the second verse, you're back in the story. Second chorus, you're singing along, you're having a good time. You know what's going on. Bridge, we might have a resolve or a cliffhanger. That's generally country music. It has that formula generally. Beyonce, I feel, has written an album that is more pop themed. It has more abstract ideas. It's more of a feeling or a vibe. And it just has a lot of country music production on top of it, which has given it a sort of country sound. And I think that it is actually a nice, good album. I think the thing that I feel isn't there is that country music heart and soul, depth, and also it doesn't bring me in emotionally. I didn't listen to anything on that album and think, oh my God, she got me. She got me there. That's brought a tear to my eye, or that's made me think, yes, I'm gonna get over this person, or, you know, you to my ex. She has not done that. And I also worry sometimes that Beyonce is just maybe just chilling and she hasn't got much to talk about these days. But I like some of the songs. Some of them are a bit of a bop. And I understand why the Beyonce fans like it, because country music is real music. It's got real instruments. It's not like her Renaissance album was, again, very produced and it was great. I love it. I love some of the songs on it. But we're coming back now, like everything comes back round. We're now coming back to a time where I think real instruments are really loved. Not saying that I don't love dance music and everything that comes with that as well, but I think we're coming back to this more earthy, folky sound, and she's made a nice album. I don't necessarily think it was a country album.
I'm with you. I've seen Beyonce live more than once. She's absolutely a performer of our time. She is a showgirl. You can't really beat her. But it comes across very novelty to me. It comes across as she's having a go.
But I think artists should be able to have a go. Yeah. That's where I come back to. I'm like, I think she should be able to have a go. She's had a go.
She's had a go. And some people who don't, do you know what? If it's going to bring people into the country music genre, great. I'm already here and I don't like it.
I think one of you made the point the other day. It was really interesting that basically if she'd approached it doing something like she had done on Irreplaceable, for example, it would have been a completely different situation.
When you look back at Beyonce's earlier songs, that Irreplaceable, even things like Me, Myself and I, they all tell a story. I'm really in it. Whereas now she is a little bit more of a vibe, kind of cool words, cool beats, cool, and it's just, it's not for me personally as a music listener. I like to be involved emotionally with the song. And I really wish that she had maybe just on a couple of the tracks brought in a few more country people to collab with, like Morgan Wallen or Lainey Wilson, for example, could have been great.
I also think, and again, I'm saying this as a Beyonce fan, but not a Beyonce fan of sort of trying to interpret country in a very, as you say, produced pop way. Why do you have to cover Jolene? Even if you know nothing about country music, why would you do that? Think, if you want to go deep, which she hasn't, don't do that. Like, it looks like you don't know anything about the genre, but, oh yeah, I'm going to cover Jolene. Okay, what else are you going to do? 9 to 5?
I appreciate her. What she is trying to do is show that country is a genre for everybody, and it doesn't come down to your race, and it doesn't come down to anything other than the music being good. There's a lot of really great black country artists already out there. Breland, the War and Treaty, and country music is built on blues and roots music essentially. So I think that was kind of what she was trying to do, but I think what she's actually produced we just don't like. It's just loses the soul and the core of why we love country music.
I think that's really exciting that she's brought a lot of new listeners and a lot of new people to the country scene, and that is always something that we like.
Yeah, I think country music's had an 85% uptake in the last 2 months or something crazy.
Which I am all here for.
That also might be a made up statistic.
And fashion. Cowboy hats are back.
Yes. Just take them off at the gig when I'm behind you.
So the CMTs were a week ago. That's a big country music artist celebration award show. It was filmed in Austin.
Yes.
And I wish we could watch it in the UK, Libs, but we can't.
Can't. That's
We have to wait till like Christmas until Channel 4 put it on like some dead end channel.
with adverts. Great.
So Channel 4, step it up. Or somebody, I just feel like we need to get.
Because we only get the social media clips.
Yeah, I'm putting a petition out there. CMTs. Yeah. I think we need to talk to Bob about that.
Yeah, let's talk to Bob about that.
Bob, who won't talk to us.
No, Bob, you will.
Bob Harris, we tried to chase him down at Country to Country.
Only because we love you, not because we were being weird.
Oh, I was being weird.
We actually did say we love you, Bob, and I think he heard.
I'm sure he heard it. Again, Bob, if you want to come on the podcast, anytime. Okay, so CMTs, we thought we actually haven't watched it because we haven't been able to, Bob. But I know you've got some strings you can pull. So we wondered maybe producer Ozzy, you could talk about some categories and we could talk about who we think should have won what and whether they did. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. So I reckon I'm going to read out all of the nominees and maybe you can tell me who you think it should have been. And then I'll tell you who it was. Number 1, Female Video of the Year. Okay, so we've got Ashley McBride, Light On in the Kitchen, Gabby Barrett, Glory Days, Casey Musgraves, Deeper Well, Kelsey Ballerini, Penthouse, Lainey Wilson, Watermelon Moonshine, we've already mentioned, Megan Moroney, I'm Not Pretty, and Reba McEntire, 7 Minutes in Heaven.
Kelsey Ballerini, Penthouse, was just a different league for me because she did, if you haven't seen it, she did this sort of short album of around, I want to say 6 songs. And it was she did a video for all of them and they sort of integrated into one. And
It was like a short film.
Yeah, it was done in a very cinematic way. And it was all about the breakdown of her marriage.
I've been listening to it on repeat. I think I listened to it before I built up the courage to end the relationship. I think maybe some subliminal messaging got in there from Kelsey Ballerini. And then I've been listening to it after the breakup. So I think if you are going through a breakup, Kelsey Ballerini is the medicine that you need. And that Rolling Up the Welcome Mat EP from start to finish, it is every emotion you could possibly think of to listen to when you're going through a breakup.
And I do think that particular song as well is, if you are, I'm not sure about country, it's all about, trucks, Penthouse, is very, possibly not what you would even expect from country. It is piano based, which I love as a pianist. And it's quite ballad like, and it's not sort of, it's slow paced, but it's also beautiful. There's a really good story through it.
She actually has done a healed version as well since. So she released the first version, and then now she's kind of like how Taylor Swift would like release then a year later her healed version of how she feels after.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I have. Yes. Oh, she changes. Yeah, one lyric and one line, and it's powerful.
Yeah. So Kelsey Ballerini gets my vote every day of the week. But also I want to say something. I love Lainey Wilson. I'm going to go and see her on Tuesday. However, that Watermelon Moonshine video, the casting of the girl in the video, she looked about 45 with loads of Botox and loads of, like, her lips have been done. And she was meant to be playing a 17-year-old girl who just found, her school crush and decided to shag him in the field. So I think that was very bad casting. So that's how I feel about that. I was like, you could put Lainey in herself. She looked younger.
Lainey wasn't in her own video.
No, she was kind of dancing around it, but the story was being told very like Notebook style, like, oh, look at this young love. But I was like, but they don't look young.
No, all relevant thoughts. Okay, so the winner of Female Video of the Year is Lainey Wilson, Watermelon Moonshine.
Who is that female actress?
Lainey Wilson keeps on pipping Kelsey Ballerini to the post a lot in award shows. And I think there is a little bit of kickback from Kelsey Ballerini as going a bit more pop. And Lainey Wilson is proper like Americana, like down and dirty country at its best. I think that I personally actually think Kelsey has had a more transformative year writing wise.
100%. If you look at her old stuff to now.
And just everything that she's been through.
Do we know, because I don't, how is this voted by the public?
I think we thought it was. Is that right?
Well, the public need glasses because that video really.
So next up, we have male video of the year. So the nominees were Bailey Zimmerman, Religiously, Cody Johnson, The Painter, Hardy, Truck Bed, Jelly Roll, Need a Favour, Jordan Davis, Next Thing You Know, Luke Combs, Fast Car,
Oh, why is that in there? Love Luke Combs, by the way, but not for a cover, up for an award. No.
and Morgan Wallen, Last Night.
Last night we let the liquor.
How many ad-libs can Katie get in?
Last night Morgan did let the liquor talk. Ugh, it's liquor talk for me.
Probably is Morgan, but because of his furniture antics, I am voting Jordan Davis because that is a beautiful song, and not just because I really love Jordan Davis, but the lyrics to that song are beautiful.
I need to listen to more Jordan Davis.
Yes, you do.
And this is what's great about country music is that even though I am like a stan of country music, every day you find something that your friend is listening to that you haven't discovered yet, and you swap, and constantly our group chat is popping off of like, have you listened to this? Have you not? You guys will always bring up artists that I don't know about.
And vice versa.
And I'll go home and try and listen to them and be like, oh, I love this one. I love this one. And I think that's really interesting for our listeners to know. If you're feeling overwhelmed with the amount of names and different things that you need to know about today, just pick one and listen to our playlist on Spotify playlist at the end of the show. Pick out the artist that you really want to go and do a deep dive on and learn more. We're all learning. That's how we learnt. There's no country music school that anyone's going to. We're just going, okay, I'm going to put this on radio and I'm going to see where this goes and see what artists I can discover, and then we'll talk about it in our little group chat. Get the girls together, get the guys together, get the gays together, of the people who like it, and have a little group chat and be like, have you listened to this one first? Because that is how we've educated ourselves. We want to hear from our community. If you want us to talk about something, address something, write in, tag us, whatever it is, we will cover it. We will give it our own thoughts.
Whether you want them or not.
Yeah. Who won that category?
It was Jelly Roll.
Yeah, so Jelly Roll. Oh yeah, he's done really well.
I don't know if you guys watch videos that often. I actually don't.
I used to watch them all the time. I used to watch when I was like 16.
Yes, well, that was a while ago.
I think they've had a bit of a renaissance for me. If I'm in the mood, I'm like,
I have been round to yours and you'll be like, oh, let's put some music videos on. And I'll be like, okay, cool.
okay, loser.
Can't wait for those YouTube adverts.
Yeah, definitely not paying for that.
Definitely not paying for it, but you're making us sit down in your house and watch them on loop. It does bring something back though, doesn't it? Because it was our only access like to pop culture when we were younger. Like, what are we going to watch? Like the news, or we go upstairs and watch like the hits radio and be like, okay, cool, that's how I should be behaving. Thank you, J-Lo. Okay, so we have been the girls in low places. This rodeo is just getting started here, and we want to hear if the girls, guys, and gays have been in a low place and how country music got you through. To all our girlies in a low place, country on, and see you next time. Okay, what did you think, Jack? Did you actually think it was really good?
Yeah, that was good.
Oh my God. Yes, Jack. Wow.